Hello, it's Iris. I'm here with a process video for my third layout using my August Wild Hare kit. And this one was inspired by this lovely raindrop pattern paper that made me squeal when I opened up my kit. And you can see my unboxing video and everything that was in my kit in a video on my channel from earlier this month. And I have this picture that I printed of my two girls when they were really little that was out when we were puddle stomping, as we used to call it. And I thought that would go well not only with the raindrops, but also the lot of colors that came in the kit. So I decided to start this layout off with a cut file. I have tons of cut files in my Silhouette that I hardly ever use, and this one was really cool. It had the clouds, and it had other words, and also had some rain, some sun rays that I deleted off the file, and I typed in my own words, and I did a mock-up for the acrylic word that I'm going to use a little later. And I decided to do a little mixed media on this layout. So I got this clear gesso. It's by Art Basics, and I knew I was going to put a lot of water on this, so I put the gesso on the background. And then while that was drying, oh, there, I just showed you the Art Basics gesso. While it was drying, I was playing with the layers. So I don't know, am I the only one that has this problem? When I'm trying to cut something, sometimes I can't even decide what spot of the paper to cut. You know, I wanted to preserve as much of the raindrops as possible. There's like this ombre effect, and you know, I was like, I want to have some of the blue in there and some of the chartreuse, and you know, I dithered and that all back and forth, and then finally I decided on what to cut. But you know, that happens to me quite often. This cut apart is really lovely, and I don't usually use cut aparts like this, the square with the big words, but I really wanted to use some for at least one layout in this, using the papers from this kit. So I picked a few here to try out and see. And then I started playing with layers. Now, I tend to layer probably 2 to 3 layers max, and I admire so many layouts that have tons of layers and little pieces stuck here and there, and I can't seem to incorporate that into my style as much as I'd like. So here I played around with a whole bunch of different layers, even some of the vellum, and I just couldn't really get it to work the way I wanted. I think it's probably because I also had the cut files at the top. I knew it was going to be very busy. So in the end, you'll see my layers are fairly simple. And even with the cut aparts, I felt like there was just too busy if I used a couple of them. So finally, the gesso was dry, and I decided to do this technique that I've seen from Mercy Tiara on YouTube. Her name is Tracy Banks, and she did this before where she put some gelato on the gessoed background, and they're nice and creamy and soft, and then she just spritzed a lot of water on them and got all this drip effect. And I clearly need to practice this because I wasn't really getting the effect I wanted. It was all dripping to the bottom and not really mixing, and I think I just didn't put enough gelato on there, to be honest. So I finally got it to a point where I was happy enough with it. And then I had a problem with my video, so you'll see right now that it's going to cut apart. There we go. And I edited some on my phone so that it would be shorter to upload to Dropbox, because I don't know if you've uploaded a lot of video, but it takes a very long time. And I edited it and split the clips up, and then I accidentally deleted one of the clips that I absolutely needed. So you missed out on me backing the Let's in Puddles with some of that navy and aqua dot paper. I used a really lovely hexagon aqua paper for the open clouds, and then I stitched around them. And then I cut some more clouds. You can see a little pile to the right. There are some just empty clouds, and then some with this little heart inside. And I decided to use just the heart ones. They looked the best. And I backed some of them with the paper that's very colorful with the triangles. And I really have to go look that one up again. And I put all those on top with some pop dots to give it some dimension, which I think is really nice. And also it fits better with the acrylic word. The acrylic word isn't the only thing that stands out. It gives it some more layering. And then there's some still on the right hand side that I backed with more of the paper with the hexagons. So here I am building up my layers, and like I said, I kept it fairly simple. That little tab there is actually, I sacrificed one of the project life cards that came with my kit. I just cut off the little top because I liked the way that looked, and that magenta pink color goes well with the clothes that my children were wearing in the photo. I really love the bows that came with my kit, and I wanted to use them all in one layout, but I don't know if I could spring a whole bunch on just one layout. So this is just one bow here, and I wanted to bring some more of that orange because the umbrellas have some orange in them. So I got that little bit of paper there on the right, and I brought over that flare on the left that's also orange. Now I brought down some of those clouds to the cluster with photographs, because I didn't want to just have clouds floating up and not have that tied down somehow to the main elements in the middle. Now, normally when I do journaling strips, I do typed journaling, but this memory felt really special to me. I mean, it's just my two little girls playing in the water in the street there. But, you know, my little girls aren't so little anymore. They're teen and tween now, and you know, playing in water puddles is just not that much of a priority anymore. But, you know, they used to get so excited, especially since we're in California and we don't get lots and lots of rain, and we had drought for 7 years. So it was always really special getting that first big rainfall, especially. And I wanted to do some handwritten journaling, but I wanted to do the strips, and you can see I'm fiddling around with the strips quite a bit here, and I was not happy with how it was looking at all. And in fact, I had ended up cutting some of the video out because you didn't want to see me fiddling for like 20 minutes or something. So I ended up leaving that and then coming back a little later, and here I removed the strips and moved the photo and the layers all over to the left so that I could have some space to do the journaling in the background. And I trimmed down the little sentiment block just so it wasn't taking up so much space. It's just a lot of white space. You can't tell here, but there are a few little lines at the top. But anyways, I trimmed that down to give me more space, and I just took the whole block and did a little bit more trimming as well. Here I round the corners of the little orange piece. And then I drew some lines directly on the background, and I don't always remember to draw lines with a pencil, and I'm always happy when I do because my journaling tends to slant upwards as I keep going, and it gets quite messy. So I'm always happy when I do lines, even though sometimes I worry about how they're going to erase. There I just did a little test piece that I had done some gesso and the colors on before, and I thought it would work quite well. So with this pen, the precision pens, this one's actually an Ali Edwards branded one, works really well on all that mixed media. And I just journaled about how we used to call it puddle stomping, and how, you know, the first rain of the season, we just like to go out and have fun. They tended to dress up with cute fancy clothes to go out in the rain for some reason, and and then we just go up and down the street. I decided to do some lines under it, under the journaling. Sometimes I like the look of that, so I went ahead and did it with pen, and then I erased the pencil, and it was actually, because of the mixed media underneath, it was erasing some of my pen, my journaling. I did go back here and try to like just fill in the little areas that had gotten erased, but then I decided it looks pretty good. I kind of like the effect because it looked like rain fell on it, which I thought was apropos. And here I am going through finding the right roller stamp. Most of the stamps I have, the dates are more recent dates, and they even go past now, but this was a 2008 memory, so I needed to find the stamp that had 2008 on it, which ends up being my most used, with the original roller stamp I ever got, which is the Becky Higgins Project Life one when it very first came out. Adding some more adhesive here and there because it just didn't feel like it was put down enough. And then I did another test piece, and I decided to line the edges of the layout just because it was looking too plain, and I like how that mirrors the lines in the journaling. And here is my finished layout. I'm very happy with it. It's very colorful, and it's got raindrops and clouds, which I absolutely adore. And if you watch me, you'll probably find that I use clouds in probably every 5th or 6th layout for some reason. I just really love them as an icon. And I'm really glad I got this memory down. It's not a big thing. It's one of those little things that you don't realize until the moments are gone how special they are. Well, thanks for watching. I think I'm slowly getting into how to do these videos, and I'm really enjoying it. Here are the places that you can find me online, and I'll see you next time.